So editing objects by using grips. So by using grips you can edit objects by various ways. One of the way of editing objects using the grip is by using the stretch mode. So let's see how object can be stretched using the grips. So here is an example over here in the drawing. So let's say I have a particular entity, like for example I want to stretch the line over here. This is a line which shows the wall, and I want to stretch it for a reason that I want to extend the line to a particular part. So once I select this, you can see that the three grips are displayed. So these grips, as I discussed, these are unselected grips. So if I want to stretch, or if I want to edit the grips of this particular line, so I have to select the grips which the grip which I want to edit. For example, I put my mouse over here in this grip. The moment I put my mouse over here, the hover grip is displayed, and there are two options, stretch and lengthen. Let's dig into it. First of all, let's click on it, and you can see that there are various dynamic tooltips are displayed. So over here it says specify stretch point, or various options are there, but click right and then you have these options. So now let's see how we can use this option. For example, I want to use a stretch option. So there are two options that we will be discussing about. One is the stretch and the other is the lengthen. Now for the stretch option, the moment you put the stretch on, so now you can basically stretch the line to a part where you desire to move into it. So let's say I want to stretch to a point. So I can see the distance also over here because the dynamic input is open right now. Click on a point where you want to stretch the object. So here you have the specify the stretch point or base point, copy, undo. There are various options over there, but let's say I want to click the point to which I want to stretch. So let's take more examples. Like for example, you have a line over here, and so if I select the mid grip over here, what will happen? So if I click on it and if I say stretch, so what will happen is the object will move in this case. So there is no entity where, because it is a midpoint, so there is no options rather than moving it. So if I want to stretch it, for example, if I want to stretch this particular point and I want to basically join this point with this endpoint, so I can do it by stretching it. Similarly, if I want to stretch this point, so I select the object, hover my mouse over it, click on it, and then stretch to a point where I want to take it. So this is way. Now let's see more objects like the circular object. So if I have a circle or if I have an ellipse in case, so what will happen if I stretch? So let's take the case of an ellipse. So the moment I select an ellipse, so these grips, 5 grips are displayed including the center point. So you can select any of the vertex over here, click on it, right click on it and say stretch. So you will see that the ellipse is basically getting elongated from this particular point, right? So now if I select the circle and I click on the vertex and I say stretch, so it is not elongating like an ellipse, but it is basically increasing the size of the circle. So you see that there are various options which I can use. Like for example, if I stretch an arc, so for example if I select an arc over here, and you can see that 4 grips points are displayed. Click on the mouse in any of the grip points, so you see the distance is given over there, the angle is given over there, and then if you click on it, and then you can see that it is stretching to a point where exactly you want to go with. So it is giving you a distance, a particular radius and a particular angle, right? So this is how you can stretch a ellipse. Now let's take an example of a rectangle. So I have a rectangle over here. So if I want to stretch it, for example, if I select this object, the rectangle object, I click on the vertex point or any of the grip point, click on it, make it a hot grip, and then you can see you can deform the shape to a particular part. So there are various ways by which I can stretch, but one of the way is selecting it, put your mouse over the grip that you want to edit, click on it and stretch it. What happens if I select mid grip point over here, click on it, and then you have the stretch option over here. So it's basically stretching the entire geometry that I wanted to stretch. So this is how basically the stretching operation can take place. Now there is another interesting option that we saw, that it is a lengthen option. So what happens with the lengthen option? For example, if you have a line and if you want to elongate that line in this trajectory in which it is, so select the object, click on it. So you will see that the line is increasing its length along its trajectory. So select the object, click on it, and say lengthen. The line is increasing its length, and you can put the value also over here, let's say 12 feet if you want. So there are various ways by which you can do the lengthen, and one of the way is by the grips method, right? So select it and then click on any of the end vertex or the end grip points, click on it, and then lengthen. Now you see the difference between the lengthen and the stretch is basically you're stretching a point to at any point. It doesn't matter that if it is in a trajectory or not. For example, if I use the stretch command in case of lengthen, so you can see that you can basically place this vertex anywhere, and so you can lengthen and you can basically move it. So the object is getting longer as well as object is getting shorter. Plus at the same time, the vertex is getting displaced. May or may not be in the trajectory of the curve. So what happens if I do a lengthen in the arc command, arc object? So I have an arc object over here. So if I now do a lengthen operation using the grip tool, so let's select the vertex over here, click on it and say lengthen. Now see what happens. Basically the arc is getting longer at the locus of its curve. So it's not just like in the stretch. What is happening, the curve is changing actually, so it is not remaining the same as it was. The curvature was changing, the radius of curvature was changing, but in this case once you do the lengthen, the arc is basically increasing its length along its locus. So you can see that this is the lengthen option in the grip editing. Now let's see what are the more things that we have in the grip editing. So one of the options that are there in the grip editing is the move option. So if you select this, now you can see this is the block and there are a lot of grips that is displayed. So now let's say if you say grip block and if you say 0, so what will happen, the grip, only single grip, that is the insertion point, will be displaced. Now why did I do it? Because I wanted to relieve the congestion over here of the grips and explain you what move can be done using the grip tool. So let's say I select this point over here and there is an option called, so what I do is I select the object, so the cold grip is displayed, and put your mouse over here, the hover grip is displayed. Now click on it, right click on it, now you have this move option over here. So with the help of the move option, basically you can move the objects from one point to the other. So what is happening over here, let's say I select the text, so I click on the grip and use the move, so I can move the object from one point to the other. So this is the how basically the move tool is used. So for example, I select this door entity, select any one of the grips over here, click on it, and then I say move over here. So the moment I was looking into the options, so in the hover grip also there are certain options like the stretch vertex, add vertex, and remove vertex. Let's see, we'll discuss it later on, but let's do up with the more application of the move in the grip. So click on the grip, right click, and then you have this move option over here. So I move it at this particular point. Now what else I can do with along with the move? So I can basically rotate the object. So you can see that how the objects can be rotated using the grips. So let's see the rotation option. So I have this object again, the bed, click on the grip, the hover grip is displayed, click on it, the hot grip is displayed, right click, rotate. Now what you can do here, you can see that there is a specify rotation angle. Now you can rotate it to a point where you wanted to do it. Let's say I put the ortho on, so I can rotate it, I can rotate it at the angle, or if the ortho is off, so I can have my own angle by which I can rotate. For example, I select the grip, click right, rotate, and I can put a value over here, or I can put a rotation angle value at this point. So this is the rotate option in the grip editing tool. What next? Next is basically the scale mode. So you can also scale an object using the grip mode. Scaling means increasing the size and decreasing it. So for example, if there is a block over here, I use the scale option. So what exactly it is, now you can see by default it is getting increased. So if I click on a point or a scale factor, let's say 0.1, so it is reduced to 1/10, that means 0.1 of the original size. So I can select the object, click on the grip. This is the base point from where the scaling is happening. I go for a scale. Now you can see that it's getting increment, so it is a not uniform scaling. So I can just click on a point to get the scale of the object. So let's try with the text. So click on the grip, right click on it. So right click on the hot grip, there's a scale option, and then from here you can give the scale factor. Let's say I want to give it as 0.5, so the text gets reduced to half. So we did the scale option. Now let's go up with the other options, what else we can do with the grips. So the next option is the mirror option, right? So we can basically mirror objects using the grip editing mode. So how do we do that? So select the object. Let's suppose I want to mirror this bed, or I want to mirror this door. In fact, select the door object. Then what we need to do is, so here we don't have a base point, so there is a grip over here, which will be the base point. So it will be rotated, it will be mirrored with the base point over here. So let's see how it works. So click on it, and then you have the mirror option. So now it says that how you want to mirror it. So this is the second point or so of the mirror. So if you click on the mirror axis over here, so the object is mirrored. So do it again. Let's say I select the object, and I click my mouse over the grips, and then you have this right click, you have the mirror option. Now you can see that it is mirrored at this particular point. So click on it, mirror. So you need to give the axis of mirror axis. So second point is the mirror axis. So in case you want to change the base point, let's say I want to change the base point from where the mirror axis should be placed. So I change the base point, and here I have this mirror. So in case I want to do a copy of it, so select on it, mirror option is there, I do a copy of it, and then I change the base point. I change the base point over here, and I take the axis. So now I have done two things over here. I have done a copy of this particular door entity, and then I used to change the base from the center to this particular point, and then I use the copy option. Now let's see again how we can do it. I take this example again. So I have this door entity selected. Now you can see the grips are seen over here. So let's say if I click on this particular grip point, click right, and then so it should be selected. Actually it should be a hard grip. So click on it, and then go for a mirror option. Now you see that the mirror option, if I want to mirror at this as this axis, the base point is here, so the mirror axis is passing through the grip point. So if I want to change the base point, for example I want to change to here, so click right, change the base point to the end. And in case you need a copy right now, so you can always go for a copy option and place the mirror line. So you can see that you have got and press enter. So this is how it happens. So press escape. So door got mirrored as well as copied into a particular axis. So this is how the mirror option works in AutoCAD using the grip editing tools. So we can do the same thing with the text. Click on it, and then let's say I want to mirror it. So so you give the mirror line, So now it's not getting copied, but if you want to copy it. Now another thing is that the replica is not seen, it's mirrored as it is aligned with what is actually the source object. So if you want to have the mirror effect, so the command is mirrortext, that is the mir text command is there, and the value should be 1. Now let's see what happens. Select the object, the text object, click on the grip, click right, and you have this, the mirror over here. Now you can see that it is the replica, the mirror image of that particular source object is put over here. If I want to put both the object, select on the grip, click mirror, and then I have this option called copy option. Click on the copy option. Now click on the second point for the mirror line, and you can also have the enter over here and press. So now you can see that with using the grip you have mirrored and copied the text. So this is how you work on mirror option in the grips. After mirror, you have the polyline using the grip. So let's see how the polyline works, and there are some options that we can use it in the polyline, and then go to the next topic. So polyline, like rectangle is a polyline, right? The polygon is a polyline. So if I create a polygon over here, and anything, let's say 6 side, and inscribed in a circle, and you create a polyline using the polyline tool. So let's have all these options and see how the grip editing can be done over here. So you select this object. So these all are vertex point, which we call the control points or the grips. So let's say if I click on this particular point over here, grid point, click over here, and here we have this now this option called stretch vertex. So you can stretching the vertex to a point, so you can have the stretch vertex over here. The vertex is getting stretched over here. Okay, so it's the same thing that we did over here, but there are certain different things that you can see that the moment you put your mouse over it, there's an option called add vertex. So if you want to add a vertex, let's say at a particular point, at this particular curve, in fact in this polygonal curve, so what you can do is just I'll show you. So you add a vertex, so specify new vertex point. So you have added a vertex over here. So adding a vertex will give you more leverage to defining the geometry. Now one vertex have been added. Let's say I want to add a vertex at this midpoint over here. So that means somewhere here I want to add a vertex. So you have this add a vertex, and then you can basically click on the point where now you can see the grip point is displayed over here. So I'll just make it clear again. So I want to add a vertex over here. So click any of the grid point and say add a vertex. So you can add it somewhere outside also of the curve. So this is how the vertex is added. So let's see in this polyline that we have created. So now over here I want to add a vertex at this midpoint, somewhere near the midpoint. So click on it, and then make it a hot vertex, and so this is, so then you have the add hot grip, and then you have this add vertex. Click on the point anywhere in the curve, anywhere in the polyline, and you can see that an extra line has been developed. So we'll see how again see the options. So I'm stretching it to a point, and then I want to add a vertex over here. Select it, click on it, add a vertex, and you can see that let's say I put the ortho off, so I'm putting a vertex over here. So by putting the vertex over here, so you have this multiple points. Now the curve is getting stretched out to a point. So so this is how you can edit a polyline. Now again you have this vertex, you want to add a vertex after this, so you click on this particular point. Now you can see that the curve is getting distorted, and now you can change the shape of the curve. So once you put over here, and there is a remove vertex. Suppose if you want to remove this vertex, whichever vertex you select can be removed from the curve or the polyline. So you have this remove vertex option, so you can remove as many as vertex if you want, right? So this is the options that can be worked out. Similarly here, so the moment you put over here, so if you remove a vertex, the shape is getting changed. You can see over here the more you remove it, the shape gets changed. For example, I want to remove a vertex from here. Now it's an hexagon. So now you can see that the moment you remove a vertex or add a vertex, so the shape will change. And then there is another option that I was seeing over here is, so we did the stretch vertex, add vertex, and remove vertex, right? So, okay, so now you can see that clicking right, there is something called convert to arc. So what happens is, when you select the midpoint of the side, that's the midpoint grip of the side, so the moment you click right, so there's an option called convert to arc. So this line can be converted to an arc. So this is also one option that can be sought after in grip editing. What more we have? So we covered almost most of the things in the grip editing. Hopefully you can do some of the editing part. For example, if I select, I want to increase the length of this wall, so I select all the 3 lines, and then I just right now the line is only moving because it is not connected. So if it would have been connected with the join tool, let's say if the line would have been a polyline in this case, so if I wanted to increase this, so I can put the ortho on and just stretch it to a point that the wall size increases. So there are a lot of utilities in that of this grip editing tool. That's when we do a fast drafting. So in fact, in the text or in the dimensions also, you can see the grips are visible, and the moment you change them, the dimension changes. So to and fro, we're working with the grip editing tools almost all the time. Now coming to it, so you have got hyperlinks, so we can talk about that. Then we have the editing grip objects, the properties panel. So we'll be talking about the properties panel, and then we will be talking about changing properties using the properties palette. And interestingly, we will be talking about the match properties, how it works. And then I would be telling you about quick selection. So 3 things that we will be looking after in this session. First thing, we talk about the match properties. The very interesting thing about the match properties is, now let's say you have this line over here, and you have another line. Now with this object I'm giving is in the 0 layer, both are in the 0 layer, I'm giving some color to it. So you have got 3 properties that you can match from the source to the destination. So what are these? For example, if you have different color apart from the layer color, so let's say you could assign it red, and you assign this as let's say blue. Now you have got these 2 objects which are the same layer but are having 2 different properties of color. So if I want to do a match property, so what I do, so the command for the match property is MA. So here we go. So you say MA is for the match properties. So click enter. So it says source object. So now I select, because I want to match, this is a source and this is a destination. So source object, and then it talks about the destination, right? So you can see that what is happening right now, if you select this, so the moment you select this, you see the color is changed. So let's say I again change the color to, let's say, a yellow color. Now if I want to match the properties of the source object to this destination, the source object is the object from which you want to extract the property. For example, you want to match the color of this line to this. So let's say I use the match property command and select the source object and then go for the destination. So this is one thing that you can match. See what happens, let's say if these 2 objects are having different colors, and not only colors, they belong to 2 different layers. For example, one is in the ano layer and the other is in the let's say layer 1. Why the color is not changing here? Because the color is overridden, because we have not used by layer over here, we have used a different color, although it is into a different layer, but the color property is overridden. Similarly, you can see that it belongs to layer 1. So layer 1 is having a different color, but we had overridden the color over here. Now the moment I do MA, that means match property, so the first thing that it comes to mind, the color will be matched. So let's see. So select the source object and the destination. The two objects will become of same color, but at the same time it will be of the same layer, because a lot of things are matched while we are doing the match property. So we can see how they are matched by using the setting options. But let's see the other properties that are matched. So let's say I change the line type to hidden. So you can see the hidden line type. So I increase the scale, let's say to 10, so that it's more visible over here. So now this object is having a property, let's say a blue color in the layer 1. Line type is hidden, and similarly this object is a continuous line with a different line color. So I want to match a color, line type, all the properties of this object to this. So I do a match MA, select the object and go and select it. Now what happens, this object not only changes the color and the line type, but also the layer is changed.